I've been betting the NFL preseason here in Las Vegas since 1998. Over the years, we've learned a fair few things about how to bet and beat NFL exhibition season. Let's talk about it when it comes to two Friday night games with today's daily double video. We're going to talk about the Jets and the Steelers. We're going to talk about the Broncos and the Packers. Friday night NFL preseason action powered by WagerTalk. I'm Ted Savransky, Teddy Covers, and let's start by looking at the OddsLogic live odds screen. Guys, get a free trial. OddsLogic.com/Teddy. Free 7 days of all access. I use it every day. I encourage you, check it out. If you don't like it, don't use it. It's fine. OddsLogic.com/Teddy. Look at the OddsLogic live odds screen. I'm seeing the Jets anywhere from -1 to -2. They've taken the early money against the Steelers. So it's been all Jets money, even though the game is in Pittsburgh. Total 37.5. There are 38 starting to pop up at a couple of places we are seeing, but that's not the prevailing number. 37.5, 1.5 is what we're going to call Jets favorite, and 37.5 the prevailing number. The questions for the Jets this week is whether we're going to have Geno Smith. And Geno, of course, has been dealing with a sore ankle. As of Wednesday, he still wasn't getting the starts with the first team. It was Klubnik getting more reps with the Jets' first-string offense. Klubnik could get more playing time this week than he had last week. Last week, the only thing that happened that was good for the Jets was Cade Klubnik in the offense. They actually led that game 10-0. Klubnik had 2 drives, 2 scoring drives. So the Jets moved the football. Once he left the game, they were outscored 24-6 the rest of the way. Bailey Zappi threw a pick 6. It wasn't pretty for Brady Cook either. The Jets, after the first teamers went out last week, looked pretty rough. That being said, we don't expect exactly what happened last week to happen exactly the same way this week. What the Jets do have, especially in them, we don't know as of this moment if Geno's going to play. The markets are saying he might, but the markets are also saying there's urgency for New York, and there's not much urgency here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets stunk it up last week, and Pittsburgh looked pretty good. And just like in the regular season, when teams have a lousy August game, they're interested in playing better next time around. The markets are saying the Jets should be expected to play better this time around. And again, Zappi is not a guy we want in a regular season, but in the preseason against backup defenders, he's the type of QB we tend to like. Brady Cook, not a guy we're excited about. But in the second half, against lesser defenders, I'm okay with Brady Cook behind center. Klubnik, I don't like him against the starters, but against backups, he's someone that, if Garrett Wilson plays like he did last week, Klubnik's got no problem. Wilson had a couple of really impressive throws a week ago. And the key thing, he didn't make mistakes. He kept the chains moving. And that's what you want to see in August football. Aaron Glenn, unfortunately, doesn't give us a great quote here. Quote, the players are going to play, and then things can change as we get closer to game time, meaning the players, the starters. But we don't know how much the starters are going to go here. We don't know whether Geno is going to be able to start for this one. And yet the money has come for New York. And some of that has to do, I think most of it has to do with what we're seeing in Pittsburgh this week. Last week we saw Mason Rudolph. Then we had Howard, and then we had Drew Aller. Will Howard and Drew Aller for the kid out of Penn State. And Drew Aller, everyone's like, oh my God, I watched the game, all right? Drew Aller was okay against third-string defenders. His receivers made a couple of nice plays down the field, and the rookies played very well for Pittsburgh last week. That being said, last week was last week. This week, we're not going to see Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to see Mason Rudolph. The whole game, Will Howard's going to start, and Drew Aller's going to come in relief. And look, Aller is not likely to make this team this year. He's going to need a developmental QB. I don't trust what we saw from him last week to continue over, not even a little bit. So from a quarterback rotation standpoint in this ballgame, advantage, New York Jets, whether Geno Smith suits up or not, advantage, New York football Jets. Mike McCarthy saying, quote, from here on out. Last week, again, the starters got a little bit of playing time. Some of the veterans got some playing time. His quote, this came on Wednesday, quote, from here on out during the preseason, quote, we really want to focus on the younger part of our team. Lots of rookies had big games last week. Rubio had a good game. Wetchen had the catch and run. And Everett had a big game. I'm not convinced that all those rookies play just as well the second time around as they did the first time around. And one other issue for Pittsburgh worth noting, they've got cluster injuries in the secondary. And okay, it's preseason. It's time for guys to get, for guys trying to get healthy. and you don't expect your best players on the field all the time. I get that. That being said, you have a new defense coordinator in Patrick Graham trying to evaluate his personnel, and they've got literally there's one healthy defensive starter, and the backups are hurt, and Pittsburgh is going to have issues in their secondary in this ballgame. That's advantage. New York Jets also probably advantage for those of you looking at the over. But the lean here is Jets, Jets, Jets. And of course, in this point spread range, when I'm going to get involved in a game with a favorite that's short chalk, 2 points or less, in the preseason, we like them on the money line. We like to be able to cash those tickets. We see lots of games cited by 1 and 2 points in August. Not so many last week, but recent history and long-term history tells us so many of these games decided by this much. So we're going to take the Jets. We're going to look at the Jets on the money line, not -1.5, not -2, not -1. Jets on the money line in early start action against Pittsburgh. Before we talk about the Broncos and the Packers, 2 things I want to let you know about what's going on right now. First, hey, you guys are watching my videos, sign up for my service. It's okay. We appreciate the comments, the likes, and the follows. But if you're interested in partnering up this football season, you can take $50 off. Promo code Teddy50 at checkout. You're going to get my season win report up and available right now. You get all the preseason action, weeks 2 and week 3. You get all 18 weeks of the regular season. You get the entire postseason. You get the Super Bowl. You get the Super Bowl prop report. Everything. All 5% big tickets. There's no nonsense. There's no bait and switch. There's no, you buy this, but you didn't get the super package. We don't play that game. Whole season, NFL, $5.99. Take $50 off. Promo code Teddy50 at checkout. Get it for $5.49 every play, every day through February in the Super Bowl. Check it out right now, WT.buzz/TC. I also want to talk about Splash Sports. SplashSports.com/WagerTalk. It is a $21 million guaranteed prize pool for this Survivor contest. And again, it's $1,000. It's not for everyone. But it's available in 35 plus states. All right. You don't need a proxy. You don't have to fly to Vegas and deal with a proxy. You don't have to buy flights to Vegas. You don't have to buy hotel rooms in Vegas. No, you can't stay on my couch. Thank you for asking. But there's no Saturday deadline. You can submit right up until kickoff. And if you want, you can submit all 20 weeks before you start. All 18 weeks, I should say, before you start. And you never have to miss a pick or deadline. So you get a $50 credit by using promo code WagerTalk. So go to splashsports.com/WagerTalk, password WagerTalk, get $50 promo for additional services from splashsports.com. All kinds of contests over there. Thank you for your consideration. Now let's talk about the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. And all the money's come for Denver right now. And you can understand why. Packers have been pretty good. I'm seeing 6/6.5, total 40.5 in this ballgame. There are some 41s out there for the Broncos and the Packers. And obviously, when we're talking about Denver, 7-0 straight up, 7-0 against the spread over the last 3 years. The Sean Payton's team has done very, very well in these ball games. Bo Nix expected to make his preseason debut. The starters are expected to play about 15 snaps, I believe. Although Payton did not reveal the full quarterback rotation for Friday's game. He said that Stidham and Ellinger will both play behind Bo Nix and company. So last week, Denver 27-7 at Atlanta. But let's talk about that for a minute. So there are 2 key factors for that game that stand out to me. First, is that there was a 97-yard pick six. The Falcons were in the process of getting themselves back into the game. One bad pass changed everything. And boom, now it's a blowout. Denver was so easy. Well, it's always easy when you get a 97-yard pick. It's often easier when you get a 97-yard pick six. But the other factor in that game is that Atlanta wasn't ready. And I'm kicking myself for not landing, whatever. I'm not going to get mad at myself for stuff that happened last week. I should have had the Broncos. We gave us a free play winner for you guys. I did not release it as a client play, and it was stupid. I should have really, because Atlanta wasn't ready. They're still not ready. All right. Their top QBs are hurt. It's a new system. It's going to be, there's going to be some growing pains in Atlanta, and they showed last week. That doesn't make Denver dominant. But the track record of Peyton, the fact that Nix is going to play this week, we've seen nothing but Denver money coming in. And obviously, I'm saying I get 6.5 right now, which to this better is a little bit rich. Green Bay didn't have a great debut against Pittsburgh. Jordan Love, 3 of 5 passing, 1 series of work, and then Kyle McCord and Tyrod Taylor came in after that. And that's a bet on duo, by the way, when it comes to backup QBs. We like Tyrod Taylor and Kyle McCord. I don't know if we're going to see Kyron Jones here. He had only 1 throw last week. Jonathan Gannon, the defense coordinator, not afraid to blitz. He played mostly, and someone yelled at me about this on Twitter, mostly vanilla schemes last week. There was some blitzing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more blitzing this week from Gannon and company. And, Jordan Love and the starters on the field for just 9 plays, getting a field goal. The quote from LaFleur this week is that we're expecting to see more of Jordan Love this time around. And again, the veteran backups behind him, Taylor and McCord, 2 guys who I don't mind my money on. Denver has a big betting bandwagon right now. And again, when you start putting together these impressive preseason streaks, the betting markets take notice. They take notice of final scores of these ball games. I get it. In my opinion, this number is too high. I could only take the Packers plus the points. Now the number's gone to 6, and I would not be surprised if it goes even higher before kickoff. Denver has themselves a pretty big preseason betting bandwagon. Lean Green Bay, lean Jets on the money line. That's the 2 opinions for Friday night. If you want something that's stronger than opinion, how about a 5% big ticket play tonight at WagerTalk again on my homepage, www.buzz.com/TC. Friday night, 5% big tickets. I'm on a 67% NFL big ticket run that dates back to last Thanksgiving. Check it out right now, www.buzz.com/TC, or just visit the website, WagerTalk.com. Thanks so much for watching WagerTalk TV. Stay tuned right here on this channel for more quality video content. And we appreciate those comments, the likes, and the follows very, very much. www.buzz.com/TC for that 5% big ticket tonight. Check it out, WagerTalk.com. Cheers.